War Eagle War Report family, I'm your host C-Dub, and today's live show is brought to you by the good folks and our friends over at GWT2 Energy Consulting Services. If you're in the restaurant industry business and you're looking to save energy, you need to go to GWT2Energy.com. The weekend tailgate starts right now.
You are now listening to the unmistakable sound of the War Report. Weekend Tailgate. It's your boy, I Jones. Be real. C-Dub. Mike G. Get ready. Sit on back as we bring you the War Report. Weekend Tailgate.
Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you guys. Come on in here, guys. Come on in here. Welcome. Thanks again for tuning into our latest weekend tailgate. For those of you who are part of our community, you already know what to do. You need to smash that like button, drop a War Eagle in the comment section. Please be sure, guys, to do us a favor. If you haven't already, if you're out there on social media, share our video. Let people find us the way you found us, guys. So let us know that we're out here dropping content. Use hashtag Get Your Weight Up. Please be sure to add us if you're on Twitter. That helps us out a ton. Now, we have some news announcements, some giveaways coming up. Mike G is here to tell us all about that.
Oh, man. Listen, you guys already know the cadence here. Become an insider. $5.99 a month will get you there. We have got a lot of exciting content coming for you guys this upcoming season. If you missed it, if you missed the season debut of Betting with B Will, B took us all to school. He took us all to school on spreads and lines and a lot of stuff that I don't understand, but Brian does because he's smarter than all of us. So I plan on putting a few dollars down based on information from Brian this season on lines. I usually only bet straight up, but thanks to our friend Brian, I'll be going in a little deeper this season. You can too. Sign up as an insider. Some of that stuff that he's going to be doing on Betting with B will be insider only. So we put something out to teach everybody a little bit about betting and spreads and things of that nature. But our insiders will get to go a little bit deeper down that rabbit hole with B Will. So become an insider to get access to that. Our merch store is live. You can get your weight up with some Get Your Weight Up gear in our merch store. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. And we are today talking about our podcast a little bit. So, B, tell them about the podcast.
Yeah, tell them about the Gun Line Boss. Well, we got the Wednesday Night War Room. That's what's going up weekly. Every time we perform that on Wednesday night, I'm going to take that video that you all saw that hopefully you all were on live with us to catch the vibe in the community. I'm turning that into an audio podcast, which are going to take out a bunch of stuff like the giveaways, which the people listening wouldn't have any reason to hear that anyway. All the other stuff is going to get cut right out. So you get a concentrated War Report Wednesday Night War Room experience in audio form. We're shooting for 2 days to get that up. Sometimes it may take us longer because we all still work full-time jobs, but you can help us with that by being an insider. Get us off these jobs. Hashtag get us off these jobs. We want to be War Report full-time so I can bring you this podcast in about a day and a half, and we can turn other shows into podcasts too, but it is wherever you find your podcast, so go find it.
All right. Thanks, B. I appreciate that. Listen, I don't have a graphic for it, but we are doing a giveaway today. We're giving away a t-shirt. We're giving away a Watch the Film t-shirt. As a matter of fact, I'm wearing it. Ike designs all this stuff. I appreciate everybody who's been tagging us in social media when you've been buying War Report merch. So hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments, as always. Hashtag Get Your Weight Up to get entered into that drawing, and we are going to draw at the 1 hour mark, and a little different this week. Instead, we're going to give whoever wins some time to catch up, and if they don't answer by the end of the broadcast, we'll redraw. So That's all I got today.
Well, that's appreciate that. It's Sunday, it's a new week, and Auburn has a new commitment. Let's talk about it. Cadence Story commits to Auburn. Who is Cadence Story? 4-star, strong side defensive end recruit out of Lynette, Alabama. Has pretty good size, tall guy, 6'4", 250. He was according to Rivals.com or AuburnSports.com, he is the 15th recruit in the state of Alabama. He is the 29th defensive end overall. He had several offers, starting with Texas A&M, Tennessee, Mississippi State, Mizzou, South Carolina, Florida State, and many others. But it came down to a UCF-Auburn battle. He chooses us over UCF, and he made very good, a lot of positive things to say about Brian Harsin and the new staff. Has some things to say about a new D-line coach, Coach Eason. He basically says, in quote, "I know that's where he's been," referring to the NFL, "and that's where I'm trying to go. He can teach me things that certain people who have just played in college, on the college level, or haven't coached in the NFL can't teach me." So that's pretty much what he had to say about Eason. This is a huge pickup for him as being his first year recruiting at a major level. Big pickup. And I must say that this is a good start to my day in the week because I just couldn't deal with him going to UCF. I just don't think that Malzahn needed this kind of a victory that early at Auburn's expense. So I'm glad he's coming over to Auburn. I'm glad he's going to be a part of our D-line. What say you, gentlemen? Starting with B. Will, what are your thoughts on this pickup?
I, like you, Caesar, was very worried.
I thought you were going to just say, "I like you, Caesar." And I was like, that's very kind of you to start off that way. But all right.
Oh, okay. Well, like you, Caesar, was worried about the undercurrent that would have started if we lose this guy to UCF. All right. I didn't want to hear that. I don't want to hear Auburn versus UCF. I don't want to hear Harsin versus Gus unless it's on a football field, actually on a football field. That's the only time I want to hear it or see it. And since that's not the case, I didn't want any of that. I understand that we had a tough battle because no matter what we think about Gus, we do think he has a very, very good and strong, not only recruiter, but defensive coordinator there in Travis Williams. So that was a little bit of a word. I was like, okay, listen, we might not think much of Gus, but Travis knows what he's doing over there. I am starting to gain a lot of confidence, though, that if there's a D lineman that we're in it for and Eason is on the case, we're going to get him. Like that. That's just straight up. We're going to get him. We're going to get a guy who apparently has great rapport with anybody that he coaches or gets to coach in a camp. He has the stamp of approval from pro NFL defensive linemen. And I can't get any negative anything out of it. Not that we've heard anything negative about any coaches to this point anyway, but he seems to be a very critical piece in us recruiting big guys on defense. So if we're in it for these guys, I am starting to feel the way that I felt back in 2004, 5, and 6 when our defense needed to stop and we always came up with a stop. Like it was just our offense might let us down sometimes, 5, 6, but if the defense needed it, Quentin Groves was going to get that sack coming off the edge. You just knew, man, it was in the air. We were going to get it. And that's how I'm starting to feel about defensive linemen when we've got Eason on the job. So I'm happy we got the kid. I'm glad we seem to be stacking there because there's no telling how long Mason's going to stay. That may shake some things up. That may determine whether or not Eason stays longer. So I'm glad we're stacking them and we're getting these guys in the door. And I'm glad he's a hometown kid. Lynette's only like 40 minutes up the road from here. So I'm glad we're getting these guys and these guys aren't going to other schools because that was kind of a black eye on the last administration too. If they're within 45 minutes of here, we need to be getting them because they're closer to us than they are to anybody else. So I love that we got him. I love that he's close. And I love that Eason is stacking the deck.
Talk to me, Ike.
Yeah, man. So this answers the bell on a couple of things. Listen, What did Aaron Rodgers say? RELAX.
Yeah.
Y'all relax, man. Like people are just so Harsin can't recruit, and we're gonna have these horrible classes. And listen, man, just relax, just calm down. Number one, he's just getting started. This staff is really just getting started. He's got guys that are from the region that know how to recruit the region. It's gonna start coming together with those people. Number one. Number two, we haven't even put a product on the field to be able to sell recruits. Once that happens, we're going to see some different things moving. But we have now signed 2 4-stars within the last couple of weeks. Relax. It's going to start coming together. So that's one thing. The other thing that we're answering is whether or not he can win battles in state. That's happening as well. There are people from within the state of Alabama that are seeing value in the Auburn program, and they're coming here. Calm down. Y'all get so panicky and see this is going to be a horrible move, and Harsin doesn't know he's ruining it. I had people messaging me 2 days after we signed Harsin talking about how this was going to be the ruin of the Auburn football program. I need y'all to relax. It's going to be okay. We're going to put some stuff together. The defensive side of the football has already proven that it can do some good things, right? I don't think that we're going to see a significant drop-off with Derek Mason being at the helm of the defense. We've got good guys in place. We're seeing the virtues of people who know how to coach the position well. Already paying dividends. Something that people were questioning whether or not, Eason was going to be able to be a recruiter, right? Stop panicking before you see something. That's all I just want people to just calm down. Just listen, let it play out before you form an opinion. I've been very hesitant to give opinions about a lot of things happening with Auburn football because I don't know. And I can't tell you with any confidence that I know anything other than I have to wait and see. And I need y'all to do the same thing. Relax. It's coming together, and we're going to see some stuff improve over time. Chill out. I'm done.
Okay. Oh, well. Mike G, talk to us, man. What are your thoughts on this pickup? How do you feel about Cadence Story committing to Auburn?
I agree with everything Ike said. I just want to point out, disclaimer, that is strictly football advice and not relationship advice. So please don't go home and tell your wives and girlfriends to relax. That won't end well.
And
that won't end well for you, I promise. Other than that, listen, I thought B's point was astute about Derek Mason and how long he might actually be here. So stacking the deck is going to be really important. Again, to what Ike said about finally getting a product on the field. Nobody knows what Brian Harsin's brand of Auburn football is yet. Now, we've been hearing work hard work and practice. The off-season storylines have all been about the change in culture. Accountability has been a big theme. Everybody is starting with a fresh slate, fighting for their spot, and nothing is promised and nothing is given under Brian Harsin. So that being said, they made some big moves in the offseason, right? They went and they hit the portal hard, but the lifeblood of college football is still recruiting, right? Recruiting kids out of high school that you can get into your system and develop from day one, right? Not just getting kids who largely are developed other places and then trying to, get the most out of the last year or two they got left playing college football. So Cadence Story is a big get for Brian Harsin. Hopefully this has some momentum going in to the season, right? We got Damari Alston, about a few days ago. He's building some momentum here with these pickups. So I'm excited about it. But I'm more excited to see what he's going to do with it. Because I'm telling you right now, all these stars don't mean a damn if you can't do anything with it. Right. And so we had an off-camera discussion about Gus and how many guys Gus got to the NFL, right? And we talked to our friend Zach Blackerby. He wasn't as down on Gus as we were about development and did guys get better under Gus. So we went back and we looked at the numbers because we love numbers here. And I can tell you there's a lot of room for improvement in terms of development from the last, based on the recruiting. So, they said Gus got more guys to the NFL than any other Auburn coach. And I'm telling you, if there is a more overrated stat in Auburn football history, I'd love to hear it. I would love to hear it, because we went back and looked at those numbers. And I can tell you what Tuberville did was by far much more impressive than what Gus did in terms of getting guys to the NFL.
Yeah.
Now Gus had in 8 years had one. Check this out. In the last 8 years, we've had one offensive player go in the first round of the draft. One. That's it. And I'll play a little trivia in the stat. Free mug for anybody who can tell me who that one first person tell me who that one guy we had go in the first round of the draft was under Gus.
Oh, they'll tell you for sure.
Right. I mean, it was there was just, for top 10 recruiting classes, I think is it 9 or 12 on average, Ike?
I think it's 12.
Right? Yeah. Anyway, top 15 recruiting classes.
Y'all are wrong. See, I got Cam. He was the offensive.
No Google.
No, there we go.
Google.
War Eagle got it.
Okay, War Eagle got it.
Yeah. Right. So, I mean, it is War Eagle, you know the deal, business@thewarreport.com.
We're only talking about offensive players, so we're not
offensive
defensive
players.
guys aren't what we're discussing, because we know, Derek Brown, like we had defensive guys go first round. Greg Robinson is the correct answer. War Eagle.
Right. And that was 2013. So that was a guy he didn't even recruit.
Yeah.
That was a guy he did not even recruit. So, I mean, 4 total in all of his 8 years. I mean, that's an unbelievable stat, right? Now, on the flip side, you go back and you look at what Tubbs did, and I'm telling you, his 8 years were much more prolific in terms of six first rounders.
Somebody did do it before him. It was actually MWF actually got it first. He said Greg Robinson. Yeah. MWF 0001.
Yeah. Yep. Like, I mean, Tubbs had 6 first rounders.
Yeah, he got it
in his 8 years. Right. And he was a defensive coach. And those were primarily offensive guys that went in the first round under Tubbs, with much lower rated recruiting classes. So the next time someone tells me that our last coach developed players, I'm going to flip my living bleep. He did not. And depending on which years you count, in Gus's 8 years and Tubbs's 8 years, I'm counting 99 to 2008 for Tubbs, and I'm counting 2013 to 2020 for Gus. If you take that first year a coach comes in, I don't know how much you can attribute of those players, right? Like, but if we give them that, he only had 2 more players drafted than Tubbs. 2. And at the rate that he was recruiting, those guys should have been going much higher in the draft. He should have had twice as many first rounders. Tubbs had 6 guys in the first round and 8 guys in the second round of the draft. 35 overall. Gus had 37 with top 10 recruiting classes. So Harsin has to, I mean, the reason I'm going back on this, because this is part of the culture that we have to change. Harsin has to change this. He cannot get all this talent like Cadence Story and these guys in, and then these guys leave either undrafted or, I mean, because with NIL, you got to be developing kids, because now you have a lot more to battle in terms of recruiting.
Right.
You know, these bigger market schools, I mean, with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC, can you imagine what NIL is going to be for a recruit going to Texas? Money. The starting quarterback at Texas is a millionaire.
Yeah. I mean, because of the brand, right? The brand of Texas and where you are in the lore of the state.
Right.
Yeah, you're going to make a lot of money.
Right. So you have to be able to develop kids. I don't know that we're ever going to have that over them.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to lose recruits to those guys, you have to be able to tout that you are better at getting them ultimately to where they want to be, where they're going to make the big money.
We'll talk about between you and Ike. You jump into talk how important scheme will play into your ability to develop these kids, because the key is you want a scheme that's going to put your best players in a position to be successful and take advantage of what they can do. Right.
So here's the thing that I like that Harsin said, right? And I'm going to give credit. I think he said this actually during the J-Boy interview, that what he likes to do is like, okay, I have a philosophy, a mindset that I want to come in and do, but I need to realize what the guys on my team are capable of doing, and we need to craft something that works well for them. I can't be stubborn in the way that I want to implement something as to try to force a kid to be able to be this type of player that he's not capable of being, right? That is understanding player, like coming in.
That's a shot at Gus. That's a shot at Gus.
But what's fundamental to that for me is that he comes in understanding what the first thing I need to do is observe and listen, figure out who I have on my team. Now let's go and develop a strategy that's going to allow them to have maximum success, because at the end of the day, the success of that player is what matters, not the implementation of my system. I will recruit guys that can play my system, but day one, I can't come in and try to force guys to play my system. What I can do is come in and make sure they're showing up on time. What I can do is make sure that we have a good weightlifting program. What I can do is make sure that they're going to be in shape when they hit the field and they understand their assignments. What I will not do is come in here and say, this is the way that you play quarterback, and if you don't play it this way, you can't play for me. All right, great. You play quarterback that way. Is who we have on the roster. Let me go get a guy in who's a little bit closer to what I want in case you can't do it. Cool. But I'm going to recruit my guys and bring them in, and we're going to start to change the culture of this program, not just in the way that we practice, but in the way that we play. And right. I love that approach to being able to do things because it helps you to be successful. And I've stressed this as well. I think that we can be successful year one. And it's clear the mindset of this coaching staff is we're not playing this restructure, rebuild, regroup game. We're playing we're going to come in here and we're going to whoop people game one, day one, come get it, right? Like that's clear in the way that they're approaching everything is that, no, we're going to win games. Forget all this rebuild, restructure. We're going to win football games today, this year. And I love that mindset. And that's what's going to help people succeed at the next levels because they've allowed the kids to be successful, put film out there for recruits or for people who are going to be looking at them at the next level to say, look, this is what I can do with this person when I get them onto my football field, as opposed to you never get to see them play or you don't put them in a situation where they're going to be able to be successful.
Yeah.
I yield my time.
B, you got any thoughts on this, man?
I mean, system for a defensive player was not much of a concern because Kevin Steele did do a good job. And I still didn't imagine that the most prolific offense to date when we played it in 2019 LSU, that we would be able to do what we did against them. A lot of that was due to Marlon Davidson and Derek Brown being able to do the job of 3 or 4 men on the line. And that let us have 5 DBs on the field. But our defensive players, that we were not hurting on defense. And some of that is helping us right now because even though the staff has completely changed over, we got a brand new defensive coordinator, brand new faces. You can look and say, listen, Auburn guy in the league, Auburn guy just won a Super Bowl, Auburn guy first round pick. Come over here, man. You'll be all right. And that's doing work for us. So I'm glad that we have that. But it was more about our concerns are more about offensively. When we get guys, can we tell them the truth and say, I am going to make sure that your abilities are put on display in our offense on tape so that at the next level, you're going to be gold. Can he say that? They cannot say that yet. They couldn't say that before because the offense we were running had no tangible benefits in the pros. We've heard that from different reports a lot, from the QBs, from the wide receivers, and from QB coaches. It did not translate. It is very hard to tell somebody, hey, I can do that job. Okay, have you done this job before? No. Have you done a job like this job? Kind of, sort of. Well, no, we don't want you for this job. We want to know that you can do the job we need you to do. And people coming out of Gus's offense couldn't say that. Harson's number one job has to be, what can you do? I'm going to make sure I find a home for what you do in my system, which mirrors very closely NFL systems, so that they know it's a one-for-one translation for what you can do and what you can do for them. If he can do that year one, I think he can do that year one. He's got tight ends. We've got a lot of pieces that we didn't have working before. Whether or not the offensive line has improved tremendously, I think will be the biggest difference for whether or not we're guessing 7-5 or we're guessing 9-3. Like we're not that far away. And Harsin knows what he has to do. He has to get guys in here. He can sell a promise a little bit. He can promise Damari Alston carries. We've got Tank. We're going to ride Tank. Tank's going to look outstanding. Damari Alston is going to see himself in Tank in the offense that we run. That's easy. Wide receivers is going to be tougher. And maybe that's why we haven't been, knocking it out the park with wide receivers, whether it was transfers or 2022 recruits, because they need to see it. You can't just assume, hey, man, maybe I saw what you ran at Boise. Yeah, but this is not Boise.
Right.
We've got some people around here. You go to Georgia and you go to Alabama and you go to LSU. They can make you promises that you have already seen. So if I'm going to come to Auburn instead of those places, or instead of Florida, who wants similar type athletes who know that they're going to get it aired out to them, what can you do for me? He can't sell it yet. I think he's going to sell it with the product on the field, but until he sells it, it's going to be a matter of building relationships, which again, Nick Easton is great at. And I'm hoping Korn is getting his feet wet with that too. We got Jay Fair, a good pickup. Are we going to get those outstanding next level 4- and 5-star wide receivers? We'll see. I think Harsin knows he's got to prove it on the field between now and October. Once we've gone to Penn State to show something, once we've shown something at LSU, once we've shown something against Georgia at home, you build a relationship, you keep the kids close. That's the best you can do. Once you show that product on the field, then it all starts to come together. And then we start landing these guys in these battles for 4 stars like we're doing on defense. But it's going to take some time. But I think we're still in there for it.
Well, before we move any further, man, shout out to Burner Account. Appreciate you, my brother. Appreciate everyone for dropping super chats on us, man. We greatly appreciate it. We love you guys for that. Mike,
get us off these jobs.
B Will is on the Get Us Off the Jobs campaign. Very heavy.
Hashtag.
Listen, I understand, brother. I feel
You got anything else, Mike G?
Nah, listen, winning solves a myriad of ails, right? Like, so Harsin needs to go
at the end of the day, we put W's in the column.
Yeah.
And you look formidable in your losses. Players come to play for you.
Yeah.
There's just no other thing. We win and it looks beautiful.
Yeah, listen, look like you know what the hell you're doing at Penn State.
Right.
Right. And then open SEC play with some sort of competence. We got to go on. I mean, we've talked it to death. We got to go on the road and win in a place we haven't won in 2 decades. So win or lose, we have to look competent. It has to look close. Recruits need to be able to say, listen, they're not quite there yet in the win-loss column, but man, throw me in there with Demetrius Davis or TJ Finley, and we've got a squad. Damari Alston is out here caping for Auburn hard.
I love to see
on
that.
social media. Listen, he is recruiting, and I think that's
that quarterback is too. Holden is too.
Yeah. I think that's the best thing you can have is that the guys that you have are not wavering. But not only are they not wavering, they're out there actively recruiting, telling other kids, like, listen, come play with us. Let's come play on our all-star team down on the plains. And for that to have, any real validity, they've got to go out in the fall and just look like they know what they're doing, because the guys, Texas and Oklahoma are coming. And based on conversations we've had with JG, I'm not so sure it's going to take until 2025 for them to join the conference.
Yeah, man.
I mean, it sounds like the only barrier between them leaving now and in 2025 is just money. And we know both those schools have that.
Well, so that's actually been part of the tampering issues that the Big 12 has had, because it's been rumored that ESPN is willing to put some money towards that buyout.
No doubt. Listen,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, listen, they are part of the machine that is kind of controlling the perception of college football. I've told y'all before, I'd like to introduce you to the brand new president of NCAA, Greg Sankey. Because if we grow any bigger than we are right now, currently, I mean, he's going to have probably, I don't know, like half of the top 10 programs in college football history in his conference. So, with those two schools coming in, it's important that we start establishing who we are now.
Right.
Yeah.
Before we have to start battling these other two schools for the same recruits.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Now, Texas, they've got their recruits in their backyard that we really haven't been vying for anyway. But, if you're a recruit and you get shunned by Texas and you get recruited by Auburn and we have a more competent system, this could be a positive thing for us, right? Because the guys that they miss on might end up coming to Auburn. And not because they're not good, because they just missed. Because that coaching staff misevaluated that player, and now we get to get even deeper into that Texas market. But it's all going to depend on what you put on the field and you show these kids. Because that Texas money, man, and NIL, I'm telling you, they will be, mark my words, one of the most corrupt markets in football when it comes to NIL, hands down. When Matthew McConaughey is your most popular alum, it's never a good thing. So it's going to be bad, and we just need an edge. We need to keep our hands clean, and we need to show that because what has Texas put on the field in the last few years?
Ever since they've shown Mac Brown the door, it's been
nothing.
It's been mediocre.
It was going downhill with Mac Brown as well. Let's be clear, Texas has been on a steady decline ever since they ran into Bama in the national championship.
Right.
It was like the moment. What was the quarterback's name?
Colt McCoy.
Colt McCoy.
The moment Colt McCoy got dumped on his neck, Texas just went the way of Colt McCoy.
Yeah, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to out-recruit them in our own conference. I'm telling you, based on what we put on the field in the last few years. They haven't accomplished anything we haven't accomplished. As a matter of fact, we probably accomplished more.
We have.
If you count that 2017 season, right, and a national title in 2013, where we beat two back-to-back number one teams in the country. I just think Brian Harsin needs to go out and show what kind of brand of football he's selling and get recruits on board with this man. The toughness that he's trying to bring back to our football team, the discipline above all else is discipline. We've heard it over and over again. We've heard it from people inside, outside, all around the program, a merry-go-round of people just saying that we lacked discipline in some areas, and it cost us on Saturdays. And it's the little things. And I really love his line about if we're going to play for championships, everything we do matters. Everything. So this is going to be one of them, man. He's got to be the whole package. We don't have some things these other schools have to offer. So you got to take a guy like Cadence Story, and you have to be highly invested in his success. Those you can't miss on your Cadence Stories. They got to make it to the next level. And then that's your immediate signal to recruits. Now, if you come here, you're our next Cadence Story. You're our next Damari Alston. You're our next.
That's exactly what's happening with basketball, right?
Yeah.
You hit on a couple of guys. They end up being the guy who you thought they were. You put them in a position to get drafted. They get drafted. Other guys who want to get drafted say, Auburn, huh?
Auburn, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
Even the guy who we would have drafted if he didn't go directly to play semi-pro, Jalen Green, went second overall in the draft.
That's who they were going after.
Right. He has openly said if he was going to college, he was coming to Auburn, but he decided he didn't want to do the college thing. He was going to be at Auburn.
How
and he was the number
remarkable
2 draft pick.
What's his name? Sharif he played for half of a shortened season, and he got drafted. Sharif wasn't even here long enough to get into the full swing. He didn't have this whole.
We're disappointed he got drafted, and we're disappointed. Wait, hold on. When at Auburn have we ever said, wow, he slid that far down?
Yeah.
We're happy to say, whoa, he got drafted at all. Right?
Yeah, I was in the camp that was man, maybe Sharif should have come back for another year.
Sure. I mean, but again, that was always a topic. Should he have come back? Right.
Yeah.
Even before he declared. right? But I'm just saying, look at where Auburn is based off of what we've been able to do. A guy gets drafted and we're disappointed. That's how much things has changed under Bruce Pearl. I'm looking forward to seeing that at Auburn, where we're evaluating on guys so well, even the guys we miss for whatever reason, we're evaluating and we're actually putting them in positions to where scouts take notice. Yeah. Now under Harsin, I'm expecting scouts to look at our wide receivers and say, yeah, they know a route tree. Yeah, for sure. We're going to give them a look. Right,
their guys block like nobody's business. If they're a wide receiver and they're on the field for Auburn on offense, they are blocking their tails off. I can trust this guy. Let's take him.
Yeah, absolutely, sure. Absolutely. Listen, we got a lot to talk about, guys. But before we move on, man, I want to shout out 2 new members of the War Report family. Percy, thank you, Percy, sir, for being a part of the family War Eagle to you, and welcome. Also, MWF.
And WF, what is up, man?
Welcome. Thank you, sir. Thanks for becoming a member of the War Report. Also, if you're watching us for the first time, we want to welcome you guys. Please be sure to smash that like button. Please be sure to drop something in the comment section. If you're Auburn family, War Eagle to you guys. Also, if you're not part of the Auburn family, drop where you're streaming this from. Drop your city. We want to hear from you regardless. Please be sure to share this video, and we greatly appreciate it. Mike G, talk to us about what we're doing today, sir.
Congratulations to our new members on joining the community. I know you guys hear me because I keep saying it. Become an insider. You definitely want to be a part of this community. We are doing some great things here, and there's some conversations that will be insider only. Particularly, certain segments of Betting Would Be Will. I talked about it at the top of the segment, as well as the Monday night film reviews with Ike Jones. You guys don't want to miss this. We're going to cut up film from every single game and talk about it on Monday nights with you guys. So you don't want to miss this. This is going to be insider only. We can't risk trolls ruining the experience for our members. So when we talk film and we break those things down, it's going to be an insider only thing. $5.99 a month. The season is fast approaching. It's August 1st, guys. It is
4 weeks until game week.
So this is so exciting. We went through last season. If you were with us last season, all 10 of you who were with us last season, we appreciate you. We have grown our numbers exponentially since then. We want to be able to provide a member-only experience during the season that includes pregame, halftime, and postgame, as well as your regular Sunday tailgate and these extra sessions. For the record, Betting Would Be Will. It's just all going to be wonderful. So become an insider so you can take advantage of that. Keep your eyes out. We are giving away tickets to the Akron game. If you are an insider, you get 3 entries into this raffle automatically. Supporters get 2 entries. And then if you did any of our calls to action prior, then you got an entry as well for just subscribing and doing the things that we ask you guys to do in terms of sharing our content. But watch out, in 13 days, we will be giving away 2 tickets to the Akron game. We'll announce the winners on our Wednesday night War Room. So keep your eyes out for that. Our merch store is live. You can get your weight up with some Get Your Weight Up gear from our merch store. The link to this is in the About section of our YouTube channel. And we're also giving away a t-shirt today. I'm wearing it. Here it is. Ike very slyly whipped up a graphic while we were live. So hashtag Get Your Weight Up in the comments to enter that. I got 40 I'm looking at 40 entries right now. We want to be able to send that out to you. So hashtag Get Your Weight Up. We're going to draw at the 1 hour mark. I didn't mention it at the top. I missed it. This is one of the most important things. I can't believe I missed it. We are partnered with the Lee County Humane Society to help save rescue animals. So the puppies that you see here in these pictures are real. It's Mike. That's Ike's rescue. That's my rescue. And either one of us can tell you how much our dogs mean to our emotional well-being and to our families. We want to help other people find that joy. So if you go to the About section of our YouTube channel, you'll find a link there to donate. 50 cents on every dollar goes to the Lee County Humane Society to help them in their mission to save animals. It costs them $19 a day to take care of animals in their ward. on an average 30 to 45 days. So, every little bit counts. There's no donation that's too small if you want to help us. The other half goes to help us grow our platform so we can continue to raise money for them. But this is a great way to support our channel and support a great cause at the same time, too. Last but not least, B, tell them about the podcast, man.
Yes, sir. The podcast. We take that Wednesday night war room that everybody shows up for, and we thank you for showing up for that. Our numbers are getting higher every week, and in the off season, we did some phenomenal growing, and that is all thanks to you, the community. So we want to take that show and we box it up, cut out the filler that you don't need, keep the meat that you do, and we put it on all podcast services that you see there on the screen. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and even SoundCloud, if you still got that. And if you want to find that conversation that you missed, you can go to those podcast sites and find the War Report. The Wednesday Night War Room will be there. We will update it 2 to 3 days after the Wednesday Night War Room show. If we have time, again, we got jobs. Get us off these jobs. Hashtag get us off these jobs. Well, I will turn around that podcast for you in a day and a half max. We'll do all 3 live segments that we do each game week and put that on podcast if you want it. But we can't be on these jobs and do that. So we thank you for your support. We ask for your continued support with the super chats and the GoFundMe and every way that you can support us. We appreciate it and we want more so we can give you more. But the podcast is just one of the many ways that we are doing that.
Yeah, definitely. Listen, I talk to Brian multiple times a week about technical things we have going on with the show. So whether it's podcast things or editing or sound, we are consistently trying to improve your experience as a viewer and bring you guys more on-screen graphics. I've seen comments where you guys talk about the graphics. Ike does all that. We just feed him information and then he finds a way to get it done so that we can give more visuals and things of that nature. But as B said, get us off these day jobs and we will give you all the Auburn content you want. So we appreciate everybody who supports.
War Report family, man, please welcome some new members. Well, one new member and one upgrade. Sherman.
Hey, Sherman.
Welcome. You actually was a winner recently. I think we did a drawing recently. I believe you was a winner.
Yeah, we did.
And also burner account upgraded. Thank you, sir. Wesley wants to know, Mike G, how's Albie doing?
Thank you for asking this question. I believe we have turned the corner. So she's had a few kind of random throwing up fits, but the vet has assured me that we're still on the upswing here. So for those that you don't know, we had an aggressive GI tract infection that was causing some internal bleeding. Lots of hours at the vet and thousands of dollars later, I think we're okay. And I was very fortunate. I had a client on my day job. I talk to clients via the phone, and a client asked me, "Hey, Mike, how's it going?" She's planning this conference, and I'm trying to get her $100,000 worth of audiovisual, and I literally just broke down. I was like, "Oh, my dog is dying," and she said that you should try to take them to Friendship Animal Hospital in DC. They saved my dog, and refused to talk about another thing with me. Said, "Get off the phone, call them right now. Here's who you talk to." I made the appointment. I insisted that they take me the next day, and then I drove her there, and the rest is positive. So very thankful to the people at Friendship Animal Hospital in DC for helping take care of my animal. But she's laying here right next to me now, as she is during every broadcast, and she's on the upswing. So I appreciate everybody's well wishes. The good vibes and the prayers were definitely felt.
Also, welcome, Joseph. Appreciate you, man, for joining the War Report family, man. Everyone welcome him to the fold. Listen, let's go.
Wait, Caesar, before you go on, listen, I can't. You guys are joining while we have members just kind of flying in here. I cannot wait for these in-season film reviews. This might be my favorite thing that we do all week, and I'll be on them, but I'll be quiet because we'll all be listening to Ike tell us what did we just see? What did we see? And the film, it's so funny. We're all watching film. We think we see something in real time. And then on replay, we go back and we watch. And it maybe is something completely different. And this is Ike's talent, right? Like to be able to kind of break this down and explain to us what was supposed to happen, what assignments are. You definitely don't want to miss this. And it's not something we can open up to everybody. We just can't. This has to be an insider thing only. So shout out to everybody. I'm telling you, if there's any one thing that we're going to do during this season that we didn't do last season that you want to be a part of, it's the in-season film reviews. A stated goal of our channel is to make smarter football fans, and I'm probably, I know you guys are excited about it, but I'm just as excited about it as you are. To be able to sit down and go through this film every week, it's going to be an amazing experience for everybody involved.
Yeah, in the Chop It Up with a Pro was so valuable, and we have heard a lot of testimonials from people who say, "Man, I am a much more knowledgeable, smarter fan of the game than I was before." So this will definitely prove to be it'll just prove to make you much more knowledgeable when you're watching the game. You actually understand what you're seeing. And yeah, you just don't want to miss that, guys. So listen, we are 27 days away from kickoff, right? 27 days. Auburn football reports this week, I believe. So what we're going to start doing is, we were asked about this by some people offline. People who've DM'd us have asked us about this. We've been talking about how we're going to do it. We want to start doing position group breakdowns leading up to the season as part of a preview of what to expect with this upcoming 2021 Auburn football team. So we just picked some position groups that we're going to do today. But they're going to be, as the weeks go on, it's going to be interesting. You know, we're going to save some of those groups for some of the more spirited conversations later on in this month. But we picked one position group and one that encompasses one aspect of the football team, and that's special teams. We'll do special teams later, but the position group that I want to talk about leading off today is the actual running back room. Reason why I'm starting here is that we have a lot to talk about, but we kind of know who's going to be the guy, but there's going to be some interesting conversations in terms of who's backing up the guy, who's going to get the carries, what can we expect from this group. So listing them out, of course, this is all guys who we expect to be reporting, who will be on campus in the fall for fall camp. Here is the list of guys we should expect. Number 4, Tank Bigsby. We got number 8, Sean Shivers. 27 is Darquez Hunter. Jordan Ingram currently does not have a jersey number. I'll expect him to get one soon, but he is the other scholarship back who came on via the transfer portal in the off season. We have Jay Sharp, who got a lot of activity during the spring game. Jacob Jasinski. We have John Reese Blue. And yeah, as I mentioned, Jordan Ingram. So here are the guys that we have listed. I'll start with you just in terms of this room. Do you feel better about the running back room? This is a room that went through a lot of transition in under a year. A lot of guys left the program. We have a few new guys coming into the program now. How do you feel about this room going into the season?
I feel pretty confident about the room because we've got the guy. We've got the Ronnie Brown Cadillac hybrid guy, which is the closest I can think to describe him. Tank Bigsby is that deal. And of course, that alleviates a lot of concern at the position. But at the same time, Darquez Hunter and all the reports about him since he's gotten on campus, that's what calmed my worries almost completely. We knew Shivers was going to be there. He was going to be in the rotation. Some different types of runs than he's had in the past, and some different types of scheming with the running backs than we've had in the past. So we expect him to be a little bit better, but he's not a true number 2. Tank is an every down back, and we didn't have another every down back on the roster until we signed Darquez Hunter. And the positive reaction to him being on campus and working out, that has eased my concern considerably about the running back room. I guess Jordan Ingram is going to be a big pickup. I don't know what we have in him. He didn't actually play up at Central Michigan, if I understand correctly.
That's correct.
No, he did. He
did.
Well, let me think about that for a second. He didn't play at Central Michigan. He played he didn't play at Central Michigan. You're right.
He didn't. Right. So he didn't play. I don't know what we have in him. I didn't hear much about him coming out of high school, but I think overall, what I expect from our running backs, man, I expect us to be disciplined because that's the culture now. I don't expect anybody who actually gets in the game to be out of their depth. And if we do get somebody different in the game, I expect the game to be called in a way that they can contribute and not in a way where every time Malik Miller's in the game where he's going to be blocking because they're not going to trust him to run the offense. That was a sore. I mean, you could telegraphing plays based on the personnel was a downside of only getting guys in to do one or two things. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. I like the depth there. I see it as a 3 deep room, really, maybe 4 if Jordan Ingram pans out. I don't know much about Sharp and Jasinski and Ballou based on what they've done. But three deep is good. 3 deep is pretty much necessary in the SEC. 4 deep is better. But 3 deep, I'm good. I'm cool with it.
So let me be clear about this graphic. This is not in the order that we think that they're going to like. This is not this is not a depth order. Like, so when you see
did it
these
by
graphics,
jersey number, right?
I literally ordered it by their jersey number, right?
Yeah,
so this is not a depth chart. This is just who's in the running back room.
Yeah.
Though this one happens to be pretty close to what the depth chart likely will be. That's not how these people are ordered on this chart, just for clarity's sake.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna start calling Darquez Hunter he who remains, because he will be literally who remains after this season, and I am super excited about what I've heard from him. So, in case you have not heard the multiverse theory, there are universes stacked on top of each other, and Darquez Hunter might be a variant of Ben Tate, but stronger and faster. So, like, he is going to be something to get extremely excited about if we should happen to see him in garbage time in the first 3 or 4 games of this season. Get your popcorn. I'm telling you, grab the popcorn, put on your 3D glasses, and get ready for a show. He is going to run in, through, and around people in Brian Harson's offense. I'm really excited about him. So I think we know what we have in Tank and Shivers, right? Shivers, he got into the Captain America machine in this Brian Harsin offseason program and looks ridiculous, right? Like, these guys all look stronger, much stronger, significantly stronger. So I expect him to be kind of like a surprise number 2. But while I'm high on Shivers, I would not be surprised to see Darquez Hunter poach a significant amount of carries from Shivers this season. Wouldn't be surprised to see it. Once he gets a chance to get in the game and show what he can do late in games when they're trying to keep Tank fresh, don't be surprised if you see Darquez, if he can pick up the blocking scheme and not be a liability in terms of pass pro. I think you'll see a heavy dose of Darquez Hunter this season.
Yeah. I mean, as far as who's going to get the carries, we know that Tank is the guy, right? Sean Shivers, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people with his ability this season to like Shivers looked. I think we forget because of the injuries that he had how good Shivers has looked in limited duty. His first couple of seasons, a lot of big moments, specifically against Alabama, have happened with Sean Shivers with the ball in his hands, right? His freshman year, he took one to the house that got called back, right? We were dead in the water in that game before that Shivers touchdown, and he almost injected life back into the team with that carry. His run in 2019, his sophomore year, solidified the win in that game for us. We were down at that point. People forget that we were losing that football game before Shivers runs over a guy and goes into the end zone. Sean Shivers is a small but tough to bring down back. He runs with a lot of power, a low pad level, and he's not going to be asked to be going lateral a lot this season. Tank has already said it. This is a downhill run scheme. This is not one of those zone schemes where you're going to be going laterally and then you make the cut. It's hit the hole and go. And that is what Shivers is built for, despite his size. So I'm looking forward to seeing him do a lot of good things again. He's just hard. He gets lost in the trees. And then when he emerges, he's got a lot of top end speed.
Right.
So I'm expecting to see some good things for him. Darquez Hunter. Man, I haven't seen him run the ball yet, but I am looking forward to seeing him lay the boom. Like, you look at his size, right? 5'10", 202 as a freshman.
Mm-hmm.
He's just now getting into the weight program. He's gonna be, if he doesn't have ball security issues or he doesn't have like injury issues, he's gonna be an absolute beast.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no two ways about it. He's just gonna be a big ball of angry running downhill at people. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing what he does.
And he clearly has the work ethic, because the moment he got on campus, he won one of the Ironman awards as soon as he got to campus. So apparently he's a good fit for the culture in terms of his ability to work hard and do what the coaches ask of him. That's already a good sign, given what we've heard about him from a talent perspective and his size.
Yep.
So I'm this pick, we didn't know early on in the offseason what we were getting in Darquez Hunter. We had heard some good things, but from him now getting on campus and actually there being positive news about him, people high on him. Some people, I've seen some of y'all in the comments saying that they really think this guy is going to be the number 2 guy when it's all said and done. We'll see. I'm curious to see if he even puts on a little bit more in the strength and conditioning program in the offseason this upcoming season. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he becomes. But right now it looks really good. I really am curious about Jordan Ingram, if he's going to be in a position where he's really going to be able to contribute, or if he takes a red shirt. Who knows? We may need him if one of the guys goes down. So
I expect one of those guys to redshirt barring injury. Either him or Hunter is going to redshirt properly.
Yeah, Darquez Hunter is going to be too good. I mean,
I
whatever you want to call him. Yeah, like he who remains king the conqueror. I try to tell y'all about Malcolm Johnson Jr. So again, I'm telling you, get on this Darquez Hunter train now. This kid is going to be a star at Auburn. I'm excited about him. So, being able to play behind Tank and these guys, because Tank is a future, I think 2nd round pick at the very least, right? In my book, and being able to play behind these guys and learn. And I mean, this is the beginning of kids actually developing in our system behind competent starters.
Yep.
Yeah.
Right. And remember when we used to be running back way back then, when we just kept putting out running backs. Yeah. I'm starting to feel like this is the start of that again.
Yeah.
I mean, we've already got another recruit that's coming in Tank was pretty instrumental in bringing in and saying, like, so this guy realizes I'm going to be running behind the guy, but I haven't listened. It could be scary at the running back position. Now, a lot of this is going to deal, of course, if no other position is impacted by the offensive line is going to be heavy in whether or not this is going to be successful. But the thing that keeps me encouraged is just how many yards after contact Tank had last year. With a mediocre offensive line, he was making something out of nothing often, right? And so if it is going to be a more experienced offensive line that was already decent at run blocking in a scheme where, by their own admission, they understand better, right? And they fundamentally know what they need to be doing, and being able to climb to the second level and understand their assignments as far as who they need to block. And we're going to be committing to that on a play-by-play basis. Then, okay, you get guys like Shivers, Tank, Darquez Hunter, 2 or 3 yards just with the blocking. And then they're at the second level, and now you've got one-on-ones with a linebacker or a DB. I'm going to take our guys every time with that.
Yeah. And you got the tight ends involved too, which are creating more gaps, more lanes to run through. It's going to be interesting, man. It's definitely going to be interesting. Shout out Lawrence Robinson. This is a very true statement. Shouting out Cadillac.
Yeah.
Maintaining keeping Cadillac and keeping Tank is paying dividends right now.
Was he who was DeMar Alston's primary recruiter?
It was Lack.
It was Lack?
Yeah,
okay.
It was Lack.
And Darquez Hunter too?
I do. Not.
I'm not sure
I don't know.
about.
I have
I'm
to
not
go
sure
look
about
it
Hunter.
up.
I have to go back and look at Hunter.
Okay.
But I definitely know this is true of Damari though. He definitely got Damari, and with Tank playing a vital part, helped with Damari as well. So keeping those guys with Auburn with all that transition is paid us dividends with getting Damari for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Listen, we're at the minute mark. I think it's time for a giveaway, Mike G.
Yeah, listen, it is time to give away a shirt. So, last chance, hashtag get your weight up for a watch the film t-shirts that we will send to a lucky subscriber today. Give everybody, I only have 57 entries. I got over 200 people in here. So, as always, we'd love to have 100 people. Hashtag get your weight up. I'm going to give everybody about 60 more seconds to jump in here in this drawing. You got to be present to win. So if you're not, we're going to give them till the end of the broadcast to say I am here, and we'll keep a close eye on it. So chat, help me out if you see the winner jump in here significantly after we draw, and we will make sure that they get their shirt. So I'm going to pull this up here.
They're coming in.
Mm-hmm. Here we go. 68. Can we just fly up here real quick? If you missed it, as we do this has become a weekly thing. Every live cast, we give away something. So whether it's a drawing by our guy James Coleman.
That's hilarious.
Was
Solomon's like, I'm
here in advance.
That's funny.
That counts. I think that counts. All right.
We'll take that.
Yeah, we'll definitely take that. Yeah, it's always tragic when we have to move on and draw again. It really is. So I'm at 77. Come on, guys, you can do it. I know you're watching, and we can get this thing
78
up here.
We got 205 in the live stream, man. Can
Yeah,
we at least get up to 80, 85 people entered?
Yeah, man. Come
and
on,
Big
man.
Blue said Cadillac is listed as the primary recruiter on Darquez.
What is that emoji? Is that okay? That's somebody lifting something. It looked like a thong for a second. I was like, wait.
It kind of did.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was what I was saying. If a Texas fan wins Todd, then they just win. Like, I don't really care if you're a fan of. You'll just be walking around with a war report gear.
Yeah, that's it. Listen,
congrats to you.
They need to learn how to be team players anyway. So
That's fine.
yeah, we'll take it. I mean, this is 84. We can do 84. We can do this, man. You guys are jumping in here. So yeah, I'm gonna before we draw here, I got to tell you, if there is one player on offense that is unheralded so far that I am excited about, I'm telling you, it's Darquez Hunter. I can't say it enough. This kid has a chance to be, in my opinion. Remember, you heard it here first from Mike G on the War Report. One of the greatest backs in Auburn football history. Did you guys see?
That's high praise there.
They had a report came out that he squatted like 600 pounds or something like that. Something crazy out of the weight room. I mean, Darquez Hunter can put your life on his back and carry all your problems wherever you need to go, man. If your car breaks down, he can just jack it up. He can lift it. He can squat it while you change the tire. This guy is insanely strong. So this new era of strength and conditioning that we have coming, I think is going to produce some all-time athletes. I think that he is going to go down top 3 running backs in Auburn history, barring injury, or you know what I mean. If this kid plays 3 years at Auburn, top 3 running backs in Auburn history.
Hey, I'm always eager to wait and see.
If that's true, then I'm very happy. But yeah, we definitely wait and see on that.
Yeah, I mean, it's always a wait and see when you're predicting for the future. But I'm just saying, like, listen,
I hear you.
Yeah, listen, I'm kind of more with Big Blue here. I think Mike G is
a little sunshine pump moment. I don't do
where your shades at, Mike G? Get your shades before you pump sunshine, man. Right. Take our eyes out with that.
All right, I thought we were gonna make 100, but it looks like we're gonna have to settle for about 90.
90 is good though. I like that.
Good.
That's not bad.
Go ahead, draw and
Let's
see what we do here today.
It's gonna be funny if one of these I'm here in advance people wins.
Oh, Devin
Devin
Mingarelli. Are you here, Devin? Devin, listen, say something now.
We'll give you some time.
Yeah, we're gonna give you some time, but let us know you're here, Devin, or we got to redraw at the end of the broadcast. So I'm gonna keep this up. Hashtag get your weight up. If you did not get entered, you can still get entered until
Devin. There he is. Never mind.
Never mind. That's over. Hey,
Barney. Sorry, Barney. He's here.
Yeah, listen, Devin, business@thewarreport.com. Email us your address, and we will get that T-shirt out to you. Thank you for being a loyal subscriber and listener to the War Report. We love giving stuff away, so this is one of my favorite parts of this.
Rex was not impressed.
Let's get into position groups. Let's keep on with position groups. We're moving on from running backs.
We're gonna talk about the one I'm most excited about first.
Oh yeah, man. We know we say the best for the first. Long snappers.
Yeah, long snappers. All right, baby. So we're about to get into an in-depth breakdown of the long snapper position.
Disagreements and fights.
Abundance. I'll take names you never heard before for $500.
Listen, the only reason you will ever hear about the long snapper is if they are screwing up.
Yeah,
right. Like true. Nobody focuses on the long snapper position. Quattlebaum's been here for a couple of years now. I don't see any reason why he's not going to continue to be the long snapper. Our battery has not had issues. For those of you who don't know, the battery is the team that does the duties for the long snapper and holder or for the place kicking duties. So listen, we haven't had issues in the kick game. I don't see any reason to break up what's going on with that. I don't really have anything in depth to talk about with long snapper for real. These are the people that are on our team right now for that position. So congrats to those young men.
We will move on to the next group.
I mean, you said something there though, Ike, right? Like if you're talking about the long snapper, it's probably not because he did something great, right? Like, yeah, it's the less is more from the long snapper.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, we do have people are talking about Kyle Vaccarella being highly recruited at the position. Listen, long snappers, you're not going to ever get me super excited about them, but I can be super down.
Calls him a 6-star.
6-star.
Y'all stupid. All right. Let's talk about the next group in special teams, and that's punters. Now,
this is actually interesting for me.
This is going to be. I'm going to keep an eye on this one. Now we know Marshall Myers is a redshirt freshman. Didn't get any playing time last year. Aiden Marshall is the most senior person. Obviously, he's a senior in this group. But Oscar Chapman got a lot of punts last year. Got the majority of the workload in this position. This isn't a position group that I'm going to be eager to see because we always talk about competition, whether it's the DBs or the O-line or receivers or QB. This is one I'm going to be interested in seeing as well because we have not one but two capable punters. Talk to me, Ike. What do you think about this? What do you make of this potential competition at this position under a new coaching staff?
I mean, Oscar Chapman was decent last year in punting duties. Aiden Marshall's been here for a while. I was never super high on Aiden Marshall. I don't know very much about the Marshall Myers kid, the redshirt freshman, but I do know that he, had some decent kicking opportunities when he was in high school. He didn't play last year, but I anticipate Oscar Chapman will continue to have the primary punting duties for us again this year. But Aiden Marshall's an interesting one. Like I said, just because from the seniority standpoint, he's been here for a while, so at least he doesn't. I just don't think he has like a really big leg. Like
he didn't. He didn't.
So there's nothing about him that makes me say, man, he's going to really push him for the spot. Again, whether Myers is able to do more, we'll see. But Oscar Chapman probably has this on lock.
B. Will, Mike G, jump in, man. Y'all got any thoughts here or?
Okay, so we're talking field position here. When you're talking about punters, you're talking field position, right?
100%.
Sure.
This is what this is about.
And this is another one of those things where if you're punting a lot, you're probably not doing so hot offensively. But for a offense that will be learning some new things, field position in our first few SEC games are going to be really important. So, having a punter who just can do more than just kick it far. right? But place the ball where it needs to be to make sure that we limit returns so that there are no disasters on special teams and catches the ball cleanly is going to be super important. Now, Aiden Marshall should be leading for that job, right? Like, I mean, I don't anticipate anybody beating him out. If anybody contests that, then so be it. So we've got a lot of experience at that position. When you're talking about punter, you're just talking about execution, just strictly execution. Catch the ball, kick it where it needs to be, and hopefully you make a tackle every once in a while. I'm hoping that this is something that we're not talking about during the season. So let's get it out of the way now. Let's get the punter talk out of the way now. During the season, I don't want to be. We're talking about the punter. We're probably, unless we're talking about him booming at 60 yards on average. Any other talk about the punter is probably going to be not great. So we lost a lot of field position battles last year, and this is someplace where we've been weak. Right? Yeah. When was the last time we had a really good kicker / punter? So, like, I remember back in the day, Damon Duval did both at a high level, right? And I can't remember a kicker we had after him that handled both duties. Now that's just a split duty deal. So if this is the only thing you got to do, you have to do it at a high level. Special teams is going to be something that they have that's going to be really important to a team kind of on the brink, right? All the things that Harsin talks about that you do that matter, this is one of them, right? And it's going to be attention to detail in special teams. So,
and making sure you
about Bo. That's funny.
Yeah, hey, listen, Bo can punt.
No, yeah, he can. He did the pooch punt.
He did a good job.
Yeah, he did a really good job pooch punt.
I mean, he was listed number 3 on the most punting yards last year, right?
Yeah. Out of 3. Yeah. But it's. Out of respect for Bo, I think Bo would appreciate us having him in the quarterback conversation talk as opposed to punter. And hopefully we're not doing a lot of pooch punts going into this year. But yeah, I'm hoping to see that we're able to flip the field in our advantage, and as opposed to flipping it to the other team's benefit because we're kicking the ball off the side of our foot out of bounds and stuff like that. So I'm hoping that these punters, again, this is another position where if you hear from these guys, it's hopefully because they're doing something good and not because they put the defense in a bad position, right? So that's our talk about the punters. Let's get into kickers, place kickers.
Yeah.
Now we already know who the guy is here. Okay.
Sometimes I forget how big these dudes are, though, man. Like, we talk about kickers, like 6'5", 220. It's a big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, we're talking about Anders Carlson. I'm going to jump in here on this one. We all know the legacy, right? Carlson, and he's obviously going to start the season. But I need everybody to know who Evan McGuire is, right? This kid is likely, so his story is that the coaches went after him, and he had scholarship offers, and they essentially worked his parents hard to get him to Auburn as a preferred walk-on. All reports since he's been on campus, he has missed one kick in practice, and in case of emergency, right? Because we see it every once in a while where your kicker gets hurt on a float play. Some overzealous defender gets in the backfield, dives at the ankles of the kicker. What is the backup plan? And I can tell you, I have seen teams have to send a backup quarterback in to try to make extra points because they just didn't have a backup kicker. And this kid he's actually not 6'2", he's 6'5". He's 6'5". I know that because his dad told me. I said they got a list wrong, but he's a big kid and he can kick the ball, right? So this is somebody that the last regime wanted. They wanted, and they worked his parents, and they got him, and so he presumably would be the next guy up. And I know we recruited the number 1 kicker in the 2022 cycle, but I expect it to be a battle between him and Evan for who wins the starting job going into 2022.
If you have a capable kicker in Evan McGuire, there's really no need to rush. Even if you have a heralded kicker coming in, there's no need to really rush him out there if you got a guy who can get the job done in an Evan McGuire.
Right. That's what I would think, right? Like, you got a kid coming in. He's the number one kicker in the country. So unless he's booming 65 yarders, why throw him in to the Wolves immediately? Right? Is there really a rush to get a kicker on the field?
Unless he's just an unprecedented talent, but at the same time, we do have a coaching staff that is encouraging competition,
right?
And if he's being true to that, I would love to see what happens going into 2022 between Evan McGuire and the new kid coming in.
Yeah, kicker is one of those positions where if you are talking about the kicker a lot, it's because something's either going really right or really, really wrong.
Yeah.
Right. If you're talking about the kicker a lot, man, there is usually no in between with kickers. They're either making they're making big kicks or they're missing big kicks. So, the backup to your kicker is something that is overlooked by a lot of people. And having a guy that's been in our system making kicks in practice is a big deal. Right, having a reliable backup kicker. So when we talk about the heir apparent to Tank, and whoever's taking over for Bo possibly, or at these other positions, right? This is something that gets overlooked a lot because once you don't have him, you're in big trouble. Think about how many big games got won in the SEC off the foot of a kicker last year. Right? Texas A&M, Florida stands out in my mind. Somebody had to go in and make a field goal with time expiring to win the game. And having a kicker who can go out there and have the nerves to make that kick, no matter how long it is, because I'm telling you, a 30-yard kick feels like 50 yards when the game's on the line. It's gonna mean something. Now, I hope that Carlson stays healthy, and if you're having to go to your backup kicker, it's probably because something did go wrong. But I like Evan McGuire, man. This is one of the positions I've been paying attention to because after Carlson is gone, we need a solid kicker, and I think that Gus was blessed with two Carlsons during his time at Auburn. Mm-hmm. And who was the guy? And he had his worst game in the national title game against Florida State. Good God, not Wes Byram. It was Cody Parkey. 2013.
Yeah. What 13? Was that Parkey in 13?
Was that so? Yeah, I think it was Parkey in 13, and he was putting kicks out the back of the end zone, and then the one that he didn't got returned for a touchdown in that title game versus Florida State. It hurt. It hurt, right? And so again, one of those small details that's really, really overlooked, right? When you have a kicker who can come in and make field goals like it's automatic, or kick the ball out of that has been kind of a double duty deal for us as well, kickoff specialist and field goal kicker. Yeah. So this can't be overlooked. When you're presumably going to be in tight games, you need your kicker to go in and make momentum swinging kicks.
Right.
Carlson, has been reliable. He's had his moments where I think that maybe he's been a little bit
because he's been asked to kick 50-something yard kicks too often
regularly. Right.
He did fairly well last year, though. Really well last year.
Yeah.
But keep an eye on Evan McGuire, man. I really like this kid. If they're preaching competition, I really hope that extends to this kicker position. Despite whoever we're bringing in, I just think if you already have a guy in your system, right, he should get the first shot to lose it. The same way you got.
I was looking at Lisa Wise' comment. Remember the LSU game when we missed
West Byram.
That was West Byram.
Wasted. Kenny Irons 200 yards on the field at LSU.
He called it.
Oh my God.
He called it before the game. Remember, he said, "I'm going for 200," and then we missed 5 kicks. Like, listen, I remember that year. Was that 2005?
Yes.
Right. Okay. So I was still in school, and they egged and toilet papered his house after that game. It was not a good sight. But you're right. I mean, think about that. 5 kicks. One of those kicks would have won us that game.
Yeah.
One. one of those 5 would have won us that game. That's one of the craziest Auburn games I can ever remember. And that was on the road to LSU, wasn't that?
That may have been John.
No, that's John Vaughn. John Vaughn.
That may have been John Vaughn. Yeah.
John Vaughn. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Sam. How
Byron was 07.
Yeah.
That's when we went to Florida.
He was doing the Gator Chomp and yeah.
Yeah, John Vaughn. Oh man, I felt so bad for him. So this is important, people. It's not sexy. It's not a sexy topic to talk about, but it is important.
Listen, we joke about Bama having horrible kickers all the time. Like, it's important to make sure the people who are handling your field goal duty and your kickoff duty are capable people, because otherwise you're going to have problems. It puts a different kind of pressure on your offense. And that's one of the issues I think we had, unfortunately, under the previous regime, is that because we had so much confidence in our kicking game, it made us tentative when we got into certain situations. We were like, all right, well, we're already in field goal range. If we don't gain another yard, we're good. Yeah. And it's like, that can't be the way that you think about putting points on the board. It makes you tentative. It makes you say, we're not going to press. Now, of course, you don't want your offense having mistakes and going backwards, once you're already in field goal range. But at the same time, 6 is, I did fairly well in math. I think 6 is a bigger number than 3.
Yeah.
So that should be the goal at the end of it. It's going to end with 6. Now, as long as it ends in a kick, then you're probably in a much better position, right? You don't want to turn the ball over, but you definitely want to get 6.
Yeah. The timing on a kick, again, the communication between the holder and the kicker, it's all very important. And when it's not right and you see it go wrong, think about it. How many notable, like you said moments in Iron Bowl history have been to the detriment of Alabama because of their kicker? Right. Yeah. The kick 6 year, good God, man. Like they were makeable kicks, but the one that got blocked, he just couldn't get it up. Right. And it got blocked on the line. So, being able to get the height on your kicks as well as the distance and to be able to kick the ball correctly, right? It's not all about just how far you can kick it, right? There's a lot of other technique that goes into a kick that determines whether you're going to have a chance to make that kick or not. So kickers who have low trajectories on their kicks naturally, right? Getting the right trajectory so it can go far enough, but also clear the line and not get blocked is super important, right? And the further away you are, the lower trajectory you start on,
right,
with your kick to try to drive the ball further. So those are the kicks that are more likely to be blocked. Having a kicker who can kick it high and far is a blessing. So, I've seen these type of kicks from Evan. And this kid, I haven't had this coming in the number 1 kicker. I haven't had a chance to study him very much, but I just think for Harsin in year 1, I am assuming there are going to be some really, really tight games down the stretch. And we may have to call on a kicker. And, if for some reason Carlson can't go in there, who's up next, right? And has he been, are they in practice, are they recreating these end of the game situations to try to put pressure on the kickers to make kicks under pressure? Now, when I was filming practice, Tuberville did it all the time, right? I don't know if you guys remember. Do you guys remember 2001 when we beat number 1 Florida?
Yes.
The kick that Damon Duval made, I saw him do literally, it felt like 100 times in practice, where he starts the ball out to the right and curves it in. It was like the natural arc of his kick, but he used to do it all the time. And so when he went to kick that ball, I knew he was going to make it. I see him do this 100 times in practice already, right? It just felt like this is just practice for him. He's just got to go out there and not let his nerves get to him and execute. And we took down number 1 Florida because of it, right? So, that national title we won came down to a kick.
Yeah.
At the end of the game. Now, it was pretty much an extra point, but still, man, the nerves to go out there and make sure you do that. And then 2004, Auburn versus LSU, we missed the extra point and got saved by a newly instituted penalty that you cannot leap over the center as a defensive player.
Oh yeah.
They called the penalty and we got to re-kick it.
And of course, your boy, who has been shaping college football rules and policies forever, was looking confused. Like, hey, no, that was your rule. You're on the rules committee, Nick. Were you not there?
Right.
What's up, man?
Yeah. So, I could name a lot more instances, even in just in Auburn football history, where it came down to an extra point or a kick. So this is nobody talks about it. So we're going to talk about it. That this is going to be a point. I want to see the attention and detail that they pay to special teams.
Yeah.
This, beside kicker, I mean, like, when was the last time that we felt good about a dynamic punt returner or like, the special teams needed more attention. I think it got ignored a lot by the last coach.
Well, let's talk about it. The
ridiculousness of that statement is that he was supposed to be primarily focusing on special teams his last 2 seasons. But anyway, I'm not going to beat that. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about it.
Special teams got worse.
Anyway, returners. It's a good segue. Somebody asked why didn't we have the placeholders on there? It's only because they're not actually listed as part of any sort of chart that they're going to be doing placeholding duties. Typically, it's going to be a backup quarterback, though. So I do anticipate. I don't think TJ Finley's going to be doing any placeholding duties. I doubt that we're going to see anybody besides Grant Loy. I get to say something good about Grant Loy. Grant Loy likely will be doing placeholding duties during this season. So good for him. Congrats, Mr. Loy.
You earned it, buddy. All right, return specialist. Return specialist.
Oh man.
Again,
now we got
not listed in order of who we think is going to do what. It's just by their jersey number.
Correct. So we have Donovan Kaufman, Tank Bigsby, Javarius Johnson, Sean Shivers, and Malcolm Johnson Jr. Now,
this is not an exhaustive list either. So there could be other people who could be returning kicks for us. These are only people who I've actually either seen return kicks. The only person on here that returned any kicks that's not listed here is Demetrius Robertson, right? I think he did some kick return duties at Cal. He's not listed here, but the other of these guys actually have done primary kick return duties for their school or did it during the A-Day game. Only reason that's who this list is. There you
go. So I'd be curious to see who people mentioned that they would like to see in the I see people already yelling about Tank. All right, let's get a consensus amongst us. Who wants to see Tank running back being a return specialist for Auburn?
Is there a cricket sound that we can throw?
Crickets, yeah.
If you say yes, I wish on you 24 hours of diarrhea.
That's a long time. You're going to be dehydrated in a month.
That's how strongly I feel about this.
Oh, my God.
I do not want to see Tank returning kicks. I don't.
That's pretty visceral. Okay.
Pretty severe.
So no to Sean Shivers as well.
Yeah, man. Listen, get one of these dynamic athletes we got at wide receiver and put them back there to return kicks. I watched Malcolm Johnson Jr. do work in high school returning punts and kickoffs. Right? Didn't
Donovan Kaufman run one back against LSU last year? I want to say he ran one. I think he took one to the house against LSU. We can look it up though, but I would be. I'm not sure if Kaufman is in a position. We'll talk about what will happen on the defensive side, but I am actually eager to see if he's able to become one of the specialists this year. He will be one of my guys. I would like to see Malcolm Johnson Jr. Just his speed. I would love to
see both of the put the Johnsons back there.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Good grief, man.
Facts. Literally anybody but Tank.
I think Donovan Kaufman and Malcolm Johnson and Javarius Johnson should be getting the primary kick return duties for this team. Somebody mentioned Ladarius Tennyson. I think he had like one return attempt in his career so far. So I could have put him on this list as well.
Who do you like as a punt return guy?
Kaufman back there. So the reason I like DB, so Christian Tutt was a punt returner for us. The reason I like DBs is because it allows you to stay in a punt safe formation and shift quickly, right? So you have the guy back there on defense already. He's normally a safety anyway. So let him be the guy that allows you to adjust on the fly if something happens, right? If they call a fake, you don't want Malcolm Johnson Jr. back there being your last line of defense on a punt.
Right.
You want Donovan Kaufman, the guy who plays safety. So I would love to see Donovan Kaufman be our primary punt returner. He has done it in the past. He can do it at a prolific level, and he plays defense normally. That's who I would love to see, a defensive back playing the punt returner.
Yeah, that's actually a very intelligent thought on that I had not considered, right? Having the guy who can make a tackle in case of emergency. Yeah, certainly. But how much are these receivers going to be playing on special teams in general, right? Like, how many of them are going to be gunners down the field, right? Like, so they may have some experience in that area. I'll be interested to see, again, for the guys who aren't starting, at their positions, how much we play our top guys on special teams in general, right?
Mm-hmm.
So recycling Tank is not the answer, if you ask me. I don't think it serves him. And I think we have enough talent that we don't have to have him do double duty there.
Yeah. I mean, I think, we've got, again, if you put Malcolm Johnson and Javarius Johnson back there to return kicks, why not?
Right.
Do
you think he wants to?
Who?
Tank, do you think he wants to return kicks?
Listen, if you
Tank could probably do whatever.
If you are a dynamic athlete, you want the ball in your hands as often as you possibly
do whatever.
can.
He'll do whatever.
I'm sure that he is not sitting back there like, please don't put me on punt return duty, especially considering he can, or kick return duty. He's likely not going to return punts, but for kickoffs, he's likely like, yeah, throw me out there. I'll do it. Right.
Right.
And because we have some depth, then maybe it's not going to be the most, but I just don't want to see the man get hurt on kicks. And I just don't, man. Don't.
Is he draft eligible after this season, or he needs to play
one more year?
He's got one more year after this year.
All right.
One more year left.
Man, I don't like it.
He does not. I mean, I'm with y'all. I don't want to see Tank nor Shivers back there. If they're going to be our primary ball carriers, they're already going to get hit enough. I just don't want these guys back there running back kicks.
Malcolm Johnson Jr. is actually, like, when I look at this list, he's actually bigger than I thought he was. 6'1", 195 is not like I thought he looked slight when I'm looking at him in A-Day, but he's actually a pretty big kid. Like, he's not super small. So,
and I'm curious to see what the kid from Georgia does too, man. I really am. If he's going to be in the mix or if he's just primarily on offense.
Oh, the receiver,
Robertson.
Demetrius.
Yeah. Either way, I just think there are a myriad of options there, right? Like, we have some dynamic athletes that can play that position. So, like, why not just give them a chance? Malcolm Johnson Jr. Let me just give you guys this real quick. He actually ran a 10.38 100 meters down in Cuba in 2019. He also ran the 55 meters in 6.26 seconds. He's fast. Yeah, he's fast, right? So
is that weight right for Javarius Johnson? That seems rather light.
Let me go look it up and make sure. Javarius Johnson. Let's go pull him up here. 5'10", 159, according to the Auburn website.
Wow. Little kid.
Yeah, he's
not a little kid, but he's small. He's not a big kid.
Yeah, I just don't know how you don't like Malcolm Johnson Jr. for this, right? He's got track speed.
I think you have to put a guy, especially if you're saying, okay, maybe he's number 4 on my depth chart at wide receiver. He's the perfect guy to go back there and return kicks. Then he's got speed, he's got size. Let him go back there and do work. This is the thing that frustrated me so. Like, if nothing else frustrated me to no end, was our incessant lack of use of talented people in positions that can contribute to the. Okay, great. He doesn't break the starting 3 or 4 rotation at wide receiver. Why do we not have talented guys that have return kicks in high school, have dynamic, elusive abilities or dynamic speed returning kicks for us? Why? Yeah. Someone tell me why that does not happen. Now, if you have a logical reason, they've got issues with holding on to the football or they, don't field them well, then okay, great. But I just don't think that was the case for some of these guys that we've seen transfer out of Auburn the last couple of years that were talented. They just never got a chance to contribute in any meaningful way for the team, and they just did not make. And this is not like one or two. Like, this is a pattern over the 8 years that we had. Like, you just see guys never touch the field. It's like, well, let them go back there and return kicks. Why not?
Yeah. We certainly had some athletes that could have done the job. So
yes, I was trying
don't
to specifically say the names, but yes, you guys are talking about names in the chat. Like,
there were a lot of names. Yeah, I hope.
Oh my God, my day is going downhill.
Who's running special teams for us?
Who's
the special teams coach?
I don't know.
He's the outside linebackers coach, I think.
Let's see. Special teams coordinator is Burt Watts.
Burt Watts.
That's
Burt
Burt
Watts.
Yes.
Okay, all right. All eyes on you, Burt. Let's see something different.
You had to say his name like that. There's no other way to say Burt.
Yeah. You just gotta say it like that. Okay, Burt. We need to see something different there. At
I knew somebody was gonna go to the Sesame Street reference.
Yeah, like he's gotta help us out there. Special teams, again, in tight games can make or break games. So it's not just about yardage, but sometimes it's just about making the correct play. So
especially like if your offense is struggling, right? Like your special teams gives you the opportunity. We've already talked about flipping the field with punting. We've already talked about trying to make sure that you don't give a dynamic returner an opportunity, whether that's on kickoff or punting. The other portion of that is making sizable returns. If your offense is struggling, you give them a short field or score, then you give yourself an opportunity to put points on the board with a struggling offense. We are going to need that at some point during this season for a big play to be made in special teams. And it's just not been something that we've seen consistently over the last couple of years. We did a Facts or Now talking about this, I think. And the last kick that we had returned for a touchdown was Noah Igbenogany.
Yeah.
And outside of that one kick that he had, there was like he was a pretty good returner, but outside of him, Christian Tutt was a dynamic returner his freshman year. Like
he was.
Christian Tutt.
He was. Yeah, definitely. When you catch the ball as a returner, those first few moves that you make when tacklers are crashing down on you, he was really good at making those guys miss. He did not have breakout speed.
No.
Right? He was good at getting upfield. I think that was what was impressive with him. When he can make a guy miss and just immediately get upfield, he was dangerous. He
read the traffic really well. He was decisive in reading the traffic and making a move. And that's the other part of a good returner. Now, like, we're talking about the guys who have the speed, but that is not the entire story. So we don't think that guys were actually getting a fair shot to return before. So hopefully now all the guys with the measurables get the shot, and the guy who can be the best returner and not just the fastest guy will get the job.
Yeah. They said Walt Taylor says Hill almost caught Waddle from behind opposite field. Yeah, that was a kind of a disappointing one for me. Tim Carter, I see Wesley Hilson talking about Tim Carter way back in the day. We just had like I said, they've got to do something. They've got to do something different and exciting at that position, because what I'm saying is, again, it's not just about return yards. It's about knowing when to let the ball hit the turf and get away, and when to catch it, when to make a play, and when to clear everybody out. There's communication that has to happen there. Make sure you get your guys away from the ball. No rogue last-minute decisions to return something that should have been fair caught. We've seen games almost turn on this, right? Where which Iron Bowl was it that we had the receiver again? He fumbled a punt return, and it was almost the death of us. I think it was 2010 when we were down 24-0 to Bama. And the receiver's name is escaping me right now, but he decided to catch the ball, and it was just a bad decision all the way around, right? Like, so, these things, these little details when it comes to picking a punt returner, I like picking a guy who's done it in high school to some extent. And then you rein them in and just let them know, like, this is not one of those positions where you have to try to make every single play. Sometimes the best play you can make is just catching the ball, catching the ball, and then giving it to the offense to do their thing. Because when you catch a punt and then fumble and the other team recovers, that's like a 50, 60-yard pass completion for the other
Jimmy
team.
Carter said Kendarius Carr.
Yeah, that was it. That was it.
Carr,
Oh,
yeah.
man, dude, that fumble.
Lawrence said it too.
Yeah, that fumble was nearly the death of us in that game. In a game where we had no margin for error.
Right.
After the first quarter, right? Like
Right.
we had to get it together pretty quickly in that game. Greatest comeback in Auburn football history, but the details, again, that is something that could have worked against us. And who you choose to put back there in a league where we're not going to be blowing teams out next year. Let's be clear, right? I expect that even in the games that we win in conference, they're going to be tight. I don't see a lot of gimmies on that schedule. So this punt return thing is
We just never see. I mean, again, we'll see. This is why we played the game. I mean, on the front end, I hear you, but I had us losing to LSU last year, right? We saw how that game turned out. So you just never know how these games play out. Is why we play them. But yeah, this actually turned out to be really well, guys. We got several more position groups we're going to cover in the upcoming live sessions.
Yeah, I saw Billy Hickman asking about some stuff. Trust me, this is just our first of many position breakdowns we are going to be doing. We will have more position groups, more breakdowns coming at you.
Yeah, so you guys definitely don't want to miss that. We have lots to talk about in this month. We're also going to be covering other news going around the program as well as we do these position groups. That won't be lost on us. Obviously, as you can tell, we talked about the most recent commitment coming from Auburn today before we got into position groups. So we'll try to cover it all for you guys as we move forward leading up to the season. I said it was 27 days to kick off. B corrected me, it's 34. So guys, keep it locked. As the countdown gets nearer and nearer, we'll be covering more position groups, having more interesting conversation about who we like and who we expect to contribute this upcoming season. Mike G, please be sure, man, and let the people know what we got coming up, bro.
Listen, become an insider right now. Do not delay. Go to our YouTube channel. If you're on your computer, hit join, choose insider, and join the greatest Auburn football community on the interwebs. So we're excited about everything that we've got coming for you guys. I mentioned it earlier, the film reviews are at the top of my list. I know there are a great number of things we do that you guys enjoy, but this is something new that we're going to be bringing in a different kind of way. Now, you've watched film reviews on Chop It Up with a Pro, but this is going to be something a lot more in depth where, Chop It Up with a Pro, we choose a few plays to talk about concepts. This is going to be a full game review. So I'm not saying we're going to do every single play, but we're going to do a lot of plays and talk about why we won or lost and what we need to do the next week to improve. So this is going to be a War Report exclusive. I challenge you to find any place else on the internet where they're going to be doing this exclusively for Auburn. And as in-depth as we're going to be doing it, you will not be able to find this. So please become an insider and join this. I mean, we're out to make smarter football fans. Right now you have a reference point. If you don't know who the long snapper is, you found out today. Damn it, we're bringing you information. So I can't wait. Can't wait for this. It's going to be so much fun to be here with you guys and to do this as a community and as a family. So become an insider. If you're an insider, you get 3 entries into our ticket giveaway for the Akron game. This is the first game of the Brian Harsin era, guys. If we want to send you and somebody you like to the game on us, right? So this is us giving back to our community. I can't wait to do this drawing. So we're doing this drawing in 13 days. I said that wrong. We're doing it and a little bit longer than that, like 17 days. So Wednesday, August the 18th, we will be drawing for this. So that is our Wednesday night war room. You're definitely going to want to join us for that. And if you have done any of the calls to actions that we put out there, you got an entry into this drawing. So thank you to everybody who shared, liked, commented, did any of the things that we asked you guys to do. And if you're an insider supporter, you got 3 automatic entries. So you guys some of you had a chance to get at least 8 entries into this drawing, 7 entries or 5 entries, right? So if you got at least 1 entry, then you have a chance. And I promise you, this won't be the last game, I guess tripping me out with the movie references, but like this will not be the only game we give away tickets to. So you want to stay locked as an insider. You have to be an insider at the time of the draw. You have to be a member at the time of the drawing. So we've got our eyes on that list. Don't let your membership lapse so that you can get access to a chance to win those tickets. And all we require is that you take some selfies from the seats. They're pretty good seats. On the next live cast, I'm gonna have.
I've been promising I was gonna do that. Yeah, I need to show you guys where the seats are.
Where the seats are, yeah. I mean, I like the seats. We chose them specifically because we thought you guys might enjoy these seats. So we wanted to get you someplace where you could see a lot, not up in the upper decks, far away from everybody. We're really excited to give those away. Hit that merch store. You can find this link in the About section of our YouTube channel. Congrats to Devin on his Watch the Film t-shirt. WTF, we'll be sending that out. But if you didn't get it, if you didn't win, then you still have a chance to get some of this gear. Lisa Y sent us a cool picture of her wearing her Watch the Film t-shirt. She said somebody walked up to her and said, "You know what that means, right?" And she was like, "Yes, I watched the War Report. I know exactly what that means." So
right,
you need
right
to know
there
what
on the shirt.
Yeah, watch the film. So
so right there on your shirt.
Go to the merch
Another
store.
Movie reference for those of you who know that one. All right, sorry.
Love it. So hit the merch store and get that. Get your weight up gear. We're partnered with the Lee County Humane Society. Can't say it enough. Thank you to everybody who has donated to this. Saving animals is a passion of ours, and so there's a lot of good that we want to put back into the world. So besides just building community where we can all come and talk and just commiserate or celebrate as fans together, saving animals is another thing that we want to put back into the world. So I have a rescue. I don't know what I'd do without my rescue. Ike has one. We love dogs. We want to help other people find that same joy. So go to our YouTube channel. I dropped the link to this in the live comments, so you could probably find it there as well too. And 50 cents on every dollar goes to Lee County Humane Society to help them in their mission to save animals. We appreciate everybody who donates and helps us help them. So that is, and then last but not least, the podcast. B, tell them about the podcast.
Yes, sir. We are taking our weekly video content. Right now, it's just the Wednesday Night War Room, but we're taking that and we're putting it in audio format so you all can hear it on your commute, at the gym, while you're cutting the grass, whatever you got to do where you can't look at the screen. We want you to have the content there, but we are only doing that, and we're taking about 2 to 3 days to get that content up because we have jobs. So again, you know what? The next time we do a giveaway, hashtag get us off these jobs. I'm going to keep saying it. Hashtag get us off these jobs. We want to bring y'all more than just the Wednesday Night War Room. We want to bring you the weekend tailgate and even some Saturday content as well that we do when we record it. But it takes time. We have to be mindful of our day jobs and also our family. So more coming as we get the time to do it. But right now, the Wednesday Night War Room is what's there and available 2 to 3 days after we have that show. So go check it out.
We got a question, right?
Yep.
About the flags for tailgating purposes.
Yeah, so I mean, it's something that we're going to have to do as a one-off thing. The vendor that we currently use does not supply flags for us, so we're going to have to find another means to get those available for you all. But I am still looking into the best way. I mean, I know some place I can get them. I'm just trying to get a really good deal on them. So maybe I'll do a pre-order thing for it. So if you pre-order it, then I know how many I need to order, and that'll make it a lot easier for us to be able to do it. But I can do that. We can put some sort of design together for that. So no problem.
Cool. Well, guys, again, man, we kind of hung out a little while here, man. This is kind of throwback to our old days when we talked for almost 2 hours. But guys, we want to thank you guys so much for hanging out with us. Please be sure, if you haven't already, smash that like button. Show some love in the comment section to the community. Let us all know that you're here rocking with us. Also, please be sure to share this video on social media. We know a lot of you guys on social media. We see some of y'all posting regularly, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or even Instagram. Share our videos on social media using hashtag Get Your Weight Up. Like and subscribe. Like this video. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Please be sure to do that. That helps us out. You can find us on IG and Twitter at The War Report. We are Also on TikTok at TW Report. That's it for now, guys. But we will definitely see you during the midweek live stream show, the War Room. Until then, guys, have a great rest of your weekend. And as always, War Eagle.
War Eagle.
War Eagle.